everybody, it's JR again. It's another episode of Snipes and Stripes on nofilter.net, where we just love to have fun with our fans, with hockey, and my good friend, Mr. Tim Peel. He is the Stripes of the Snipes and Stripes, one of the best referees of all time. Timmy Peel, great to be with you for another week. Well, a lot of stuff going on, man. I hope you're ready for a great show. We're feeling a little antsy today, so I think this could be a lot of fun for our listeners tonight to listen to what we have to talk about. But how you feeling tonight? Everything good?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing? I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Just for all you listeners right there, just remember we have the knock button, another great feature that nofilter.net has. Click that knock button. I will see you. I will bring you on the show. You can tell us your opinions. You can disagree with ours. You can agree with us no matter what, but having our fans part of the show makes No Filter one of the best platforms in all of podcasts to watch. And we're doing this live. I'm actually in Puerto Rico right now. I'm playing golf. I'm down at the Dorado Beach, Puerto Rico, having a great time. And I just want you to know, Tim, that listen, we're very lucky to have some sponsors. And Bet Online is our new sponsor. And now that all four sports are not going anymore because baseball is over, congratulations to the Texas Rangers for winning. They beat my Arizona Diamondbacks in a thrilling World Series, which was fantastic. Got to say congratulations to the Arizona Diamondbacks for defeating all the odds. But again, we got three major sports going on. Bet Online is your top spot for all of your betting action with NFL, college football, NHL in full swing. Bet Online is your number one source of wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. Get everything at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access for every sport anytime. Head to Bet Online today to get your best action. Don't forget to use the promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, to receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It's Bet Online, where the game starts. A lot of fun. We're going to do that too. We're going to make some money this week.
Well, we need to. I kind of let some people down last week, JR, because after the Heritage Classic, I got on the Edmonton train, and we'll get into Edmonton in a little while. But it's a bit of a fire dump up there.
That's all right. If they listen to me, they made some money.
Good.
They made some good money. So between the two of us, they should have been on the plus side of the game. So we will be giving our picks for Thursday or Saturday, depending on what we decide to do. We want to just get some of our team ready for the future in terms of gambling. Bet Online is a great place to go for your betting needs. We will see who we like Thursday, maybe Saturday, because it's a big weekend of hockey, as it is always. But I'm going to leave it off to you. Oh, by the way, I should say my own Whiskey in the Wild is also a sponsor. I don't have my Whiskey in the Wild because I am down in Puerto Rico, so I'm going to have a little glass of vodka and then enjoy the festivities today. But I'm going to let you, Tim Peel, lead us the way. Where is the first topic you want to start this week? Because there's a lot been going on in the National Hockey League over the last week.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, where I want to start right off the bat is the Toronto Maple Leafs. And last year, the last 2 or 3 years, the biggest problem with the Toronto Maple Leafs, they weren't built for the playoffs. We saw it. They weren't hard enough. They weren't gritty enough. They weren't built for the playoffs. Brad Treliving comes in. He brings in Domi, Bertuzzi, and Ryan Reeves. I liked the pickups at the time. He brought in some sandpaper, what they needed. Last Thursday, Toronto was in Boston. There's a play, Liljegren's going back for the puck. Marchand is chasing them down. They get tangled up. You can debate all day whether it was a penalty or not. Personally, I don't think it was a penalty. I slowed it down. I watched it. Liljegren moved into Marchand's space. The league didn't think it was a penalty, even though Liljegren was hurt on the play. He's out for quite a few weeks with a high ankle sprain. They didn't think it was a penalty. Marchand didn't get suspended. What bugs me is the reaction from the Toronto Maple Leaf players. You got Bertuzzi laughing on the bench. You got a few players kind of looking at Marchand, but they're really not doing anything. And then this just blows my mind. I've never heard of this, JR, and you played in the NHL for 20 years, a long time. They had to have a team meeting to talk about team toughness and sticking up for each other. I've never heard of anything so asinine in all my life. It blows me away. I cannot believe it. And then and I'm going to go on a rant here, because then I see Ryan Reeves get interviewed. He says, yeah, I didn't get a chance to go on the ice because Boston had the last change.
Do you know what that is? You know what that is? That's a cop-out. That's an excuse.
Because
you know what? Cop-out.
Because you know what I do? If I'm sitting there besides Willie Nylander, who's probably going to be playing against Marchand, I said, the next shift you're out against him, you take a 5-second shift, you come off, I'm going on. The other problem that I have is Jonathan Tavares was out all the time against Brad Marchand, okay? To me, I think you should strip the captaincy away from Jonathan Tavares. You just had a guy carried off. He's going to miss weeks. And none of you guys did anything to Brad Marchand. Nobody touched him.
By the way, that's a pretty bold statement that you just called right there for Jonathan Tavares to get his captaincy stripped.
I'm telling you, you strip him from the captaincy. He is not the leader of this team. He is not. I've seen it for 2 or 3 years now. He's not the leader of this team.
Well, I do believe that the captain has to be that guy that is going to be the physical leader. He's going to be the vocal leader. He's going to be the energy leader. There's no question about that. And I think I love Jonathan Tavares. Don't get me wrong. I do. I absolutely do. But never in a million years would I see him sitting out on an ice and going after somebody for one of a protection reasons. That's not his job. That is Ryan Reeves' job. And listen, I'm going to say you don't strip Jonathan Tavares, but somebody should step up to John Tavares and say, where was your voice? Where was your influence on your team to tell the boys, all right, boys, let's get at it? And I'm going to tell you Ryan Reeves right now. Ryan Reeves didn't want to go on the ice and go after somebody because he knew he would have got suspended. And you know what happens with suspension? You get money out of your pocket.
He would not have got suspended if he dropped the gloves and grabbed him. He'd get an instigator penalty.
He'd get an instigator.
He'd get 2, 5, and 10. He wouldn't get suspended for that. But I disagree with you on the captain's role. Brady Tkachuk would do it. Mark Stone would do it. Jamie Benn would do it. There's a lot of
none of those guys have the demeanor of a Jonathan Tavares.
Well, maybe Tavares shouldn't be the captain then.
Well, maybe, but Jonathan Tavares can have an influence on the bench. Now that is, I will take solace of that. He, not solace. I should. It's a wrong words, which I usually have the wrong words. But he should have told the bench, "Hey boys, we need to act." And the fact that he didn't do that, and the whole team didn't react. I mean, the fact that they have Max Domi, the fact that they have Bertuzzi, the fact that they have Reeves, they brought in Sandpaper, what you said, and now they have to talk about protecting their players. This is why the Toronto Maple Leafs will never go anywhere. And they have the best goal scorer in the game in Austin Matthews. What he has, 13 goals, something like that. They have a great playmaker in Marner. They have a great player in Nylander. They actually have a chance to do something this year, but they're not going to do anything if they don't back each other up and play like a team and support each other. And I totally agree with you. The fact that they just let this injury happen and didn't throw any sort of a backlash at that shows you that they might not be that good of a close team.
Jared, did you ever, when you played, have to have a team meeting about team toughness and standing up for yourself? I've never heard of it before. I've never heard of it. I think it's ridiculous. And it's embarrassing.
It's understandable these days. It's understandable these days because these kids are soft. They're pajama boys. I'm sorry. There are tough guys, but for the most part, they just want to go into the game and just play the game, and they just want to just meander through. Don't get hit. Let's not get hurt. Let's try to get through a safe game.
Get our point.
Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. Don't
get our point.
Make sure there's not too much pressure.
Yeah.
It's so. Yeah, I do believe that you have to have a conversation in the locker room that you need toughness, because toughness isn't in the game anymore.
So one last thing. Also, it comes down to Sheldon Keefe. Sheldon Keefe, listen, I'm not saying we're not condoning violence here. That's not at all what we're saying. But Sheldon Keefe's the coach. He should be tapping somebody on the shoulder and say, Like, are you guys going to let this happen? I didn't see him talk to his players at all. I'm sorry.
Hey, by the way, how many times do you see a hit in a game, and a really good hit, a really solid hockey hit, a legal hit that is just, it's bone crushing, right? And next thing you know, the teammate comes in to fight that guy who had, even though it was a legal hit, which drives me crazy, right?
Drives me crazy too.
Yeah, but we don't see Toronto doing that.
No.
And you know what? Is when Toronto figures out that they're going to be a team and they're going to play for each other and they're going to play hard for each other, they're going to stick up for each other, then maybe they'll go past the first round more often than once in the last 19 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And unfortunately that is a bad message to send to the teams that you're playing, because they come in and say, hey, listen, let's push these guys around because we can push them out of a game.
There's been many instances so far this year where someone's been hurt, and the next shift someone goes out and says, I got to fight you. I don't even know if the play was dirty or not, but I've got to stand up for my team. I don't see that with Toronto. It's disappointing. I grew up, everyone on social media thinks I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, I'll tweet out a picture of me in my pajamas in Toronto Maple Leaf pajamas when I was a kid. I love the Maple Leafs, but it's frustrating, and the Toronto fans have witnessed it for the last 3 or 4 years. They are soft. They're soft. They're not built for the playoffs, and something's got to change there, because they'll be out again after the first or second round.
Well, I definitely think Ryan Reeves, who was brought there for toughness, and he's brought there maybe for a locker room influence, he should do more than just get in the media and stop talking a lot of BS and start bringing the BS onto the ice, because he does a lot of talking. A lot of talking. I mean, for what he did with Corey Perry, what he did with Marchand and all that stuff, nobody wants to hear it. No. He's there for one reason. He's there for toughness. He's there for a little bit of leadership. He's there to make sure that those guys on that ice feel comfortable and that they can play the game without having anybody come after him and all that stuff. And Ryan Reeves, if you ask me, is not doing his job. I'm sorry. No, and I love Ryan Reeves, but he's not doing his job.
He's already looking at his next gig to work in the media on one of the national broadcasts. I think that's what his focus is right now. It's certainly not on protecting his teammates. So
yeah. Hey, we got a new watcher on our show. One of the guys I met in Manchester last year, Steve Beal, senior. He's watching. He's like, the key is playing for each other. I mean, here's a guy who never played in the National Hockey League, Steve Beal, watching our show, just a fan. He goes, that's a big picture. It's playing for each other, playing for the guy sitting next to you. And if you're not going to sit there and not going to take a couple lumps and take a couple punches and defend the guy, why even bother going out? So
yeah,
good point by you, Mads. And by the way, there's a couple other teams that need to wake the F up. Well, and teams that are just, and I have one I understand. The San Jose Sharks are in a rebuild right now, and it took an absolute goaltender miraculous performance last night in order for the San Jose Sharks to win a hockey game. And they finally won a hockey game last night. They beat the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1 in the shootout. Flyers had 40 shots.
Yeah,
McKenzie had 19.
Yeah, Mackenzie Blackwood played unbelievable for San Jose.
He played unbelievable. This team I expect to be really bad because they're in a rebuild. And Mike Greer's got a really tough situation there, and I'm sure he's going to do a good job. San Jose should be a good place to attract free agents. But I think they're going to go down. I think they have the possibility of probably becoming the worst regular season team in NHL history. It kills me to say that. But the way that they are playing, there's no energy. It doesn't seem like there's any pride. There's no common sense on the ice, the things that they're doing. It's literally watching a fire drill out there. They don't know what they're doing. It's really too bad, man. It really is.
I agree with you. I feel bad. I feel bad for Mike. I feel really bad for the San Jose fans, because you played there. They have a tremendous fan base there. I love the Sharks, the Shark fans. I worked my first playoff game there. It's one of the loudest buildings ever in the league. And Thomas Hurtel, he must be going like, what am I doing here? But you know what? I hate to say it. I'm not a big fan of David Quinn. I wasn't a big fan of him in New York. I think he's an overrated college coach, and I don't think he's a coach in the National Hockey League. And at the end of the day, they're putting an NHL lineup, JR, on the ice. They're not terrible players. I think it's the systems that he has. I just don't think he's a good coach. I think if they had somebody else in there, they would be marginally better. But him and Mike, Quinn and Mike went to college together. That's not going to change. So that's my 2 cents on San Jose. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I wonder what the atmosphere is like in the locker room. I wonder what their practices are like. Are the practices harder? Are their workouts in the gym harder? Are the coaches, are they making the guys feel awful for the efforts that they're putting out? You cannot tell me that a professional hockey team, okay, that is prepared to play with all guys that have made the National Hockey League. We know how hard it is to make the National Hockey League.
Right.
You have professional hockey players. You cannot tell me that these guys prepared themselves and were ready to play in 2 games where they got 10 goals scored on them back-to-back nights.
Right.
That is an utter disgrace of a performance. It's an utter disgrace of preparation, and it's a quit mentality that should never be in pro sports, especially in the National Hockey League. When was the last time that you saw a National Hockey League team give up 20 goals in 2 games?
I've never seen it. I maybe going back into the 70s when I've never seen it before.
It never happens. And it shouldn't happen. And it's a disgrace. And I'm telling you right now, it's the players that play that game that either A, don't listen to the coach and don't play the system, give a half-ass effort, or they just want to get the game over and they're not even thinking about what they're doing out there, and they're just lottie-dying around. Either way, it is 100% totally unacceptable. And if the coach isn't making them feel their pain in practice, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. I find it hard to believe that these players aren't coming ready to play. I think it's the coaching, and maybe I'm wrong. We're not in the dressing room. We don't know what's going on. But
Peelsy, Mickey Mouse can coach a team and not give up 20 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
This comes down to the players. Okay? This comes down to the players having a little bit of pride in the sweater, in the crest of the sweater that they have.
Yeah.
And
no, you're in the NHL.
So, and all of a sudden now, and you win your first game 2-1, and you give up 40 shots.
Against the Flyers, right?
Yeah. The Flyers are good this year. I'm very surprised the way the Flyers are playing. I'm very impressed with the Flyers' effort, the way the Flyers are playing. I don't like San Jose winning against my Flyers the first game, to my ex-teams, which I love both of them tremendously. But, and I wonder again, this is the same situation. How would you feel if you're Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in Edmonton right now?
I was kind of hoping San Jose would lose last night, because Thursday night, tomorrow night, there's 6 or 7 games on in the NHL docket, and it's all anyone is talking about is San Jose and Edmonton. Now imagine there's other great teams playing, there's other great matchups, because people want to see, because Edmonton is such a dumpster fire right now, are they going to go into San Jose? If they go into San Jose tomorrow and lose, Jay Woodcroft is not getting on that plane to go. He's not. I'm telling you right now. They're pulling a Gerard Gallant in Florida. They're calling him a cab and picking him up at the SAP Center in San Jose. Okay. If I saw a clip yesterday of Connor McDavid, he looks like Benjamin Button right now. He is aging as in front of our eyes. It's painful to watch because you love him. I love him. Every hockey fan loves him for what he does for our sport. He's phenomenal to watch. He looks so old right now. He's aging in front of us. Him and Leon must be going, when can I get out of this organization?
Okay, so
I really believe.
I got to ask you the question. Okay, we obviously know that their secondary scoring is, and it always has been the problem. Okay, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is obviously really happy with his year last year because he absolutely sucks ass this year. Sucks. There's nobody in the secondary scoring that's helping this team right now. But why would the team change their system from a man-on-man coverage defensively to a zone coverage and kind of change? I mean, they go to the third round last year, third round. Third round. They went to the semifinals last year. Now all of a sudden you want to change your defensive tactics and go to a box set. I don't understand the mentality. And Jay is smarter than that. Jay Woodcroft is a smart hockey guy. He needs to make changes in the system because there's no way you should be changing your defensive system to start a new year. And obviously these guys can't do it because they're not getting it and they're losing hockey games because they seem to be in disarray.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I thought of that a couple days ago about how they changed their defensive system. Maybe I'm stupid, but you made it to the third round last year. You have the same personnel on D. You haven't changed anybody on D and primarily your forwards, but let's change up our defensive scheme. And now we're 2-8-1, 2-9-1. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. And everyone is piling on, and I feel sorry for Jack Campbell because he's a great guy. He got sent to Bakersfield yesterday. You know, Kenny Holland signed him to a 5x5 deal and took him from Toronto. Bad signing. Stuart Skinner. They're not getting the defensive help, but I don't think you can blame the defensemen. It's the same players that played last year in the playoffs and made it to the third round. I don't get it. I don't know why they changed things, but I think, and I put it out on social media, they need a coaching change. Jay Woodcroft, I like him as a person, but this is a problem I also have with what I just said, and it bugs me. We say all the time, and I hear it on every telecast or driving around, I listen to the radio, he's a good guy, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? This business isn't about being a good guy. This business is about getting results. And I'm sorry, but Evan Bouchard last night or the other night when they lost to Vancouver, it's 3-2.
Who are you talking about?
Evan Bouchard, the defenseman for Edmonton.
Okay.
He pinches in on, and it's 3-2 for Vancouver at the time. It's in the second period. Edmonton's in right in this game. Evan Bouchard pinches in, bad pinch. They go down. He's busting his rear end to get back. He gets to the top of the circle. I've watched it. I've seen it on NHL Network. He coasts in, and the guy that he should have caught scored the goal. All he had to do was take 2 or 3 more strides, and he could have caught him. It would have been no goal in the play. So let me finish. So then he comes to the bench. Woodcroft doesn't say anything. Sends him out the next shift. What kind of message are you sending? Bench him for a couple shifts. Look at Huberdeau in Calgary last night. He didn't play a shift in the third period. Ryan Huska was sending a message, and Calgary scored 3 goals in the third period and came back and beat Nashville. Send a message to these players that if you're not going to put the effort in, I'm going to sit.
You're in a different time zone right now. You're in a different time zone. You're in the 90s. You're in actual where common sense like ruled the day. There's no common sense anymore. You can't do that to these players anymore. You can't sit them on the bench because you know what you're going to do. You're going to hurt their feelings. And you know what happens when you hurt their feelings? They stop playing for you. just like the guys in Calgary did last year for Daryl Sutter. They
Yeah.
didn't like him, right? They didn't like him. And guess what they're doing this year? They're doing F all.
Nothing.
Because they're a bunch of whiners. This
Yeah.
is what they are. They're a bunch of whiners. Oh, I don't like that he's yelling at us. I don't like that he's too tough on us. I don't like that we have to practice after we just got back at 3 a.m. after a long road trip. You know what? You guys get paid a lot of money. Play the game the way you're supposed to play the game. And the coaches should be sitting guys' asses on the bench when they don't play the game the way they're supposed to play it and they don't show the effort. Do you know how many times I see, Tim, what you just said, guys back checking, all of a sudden they stop skating and their skates goes parallel and they don't make another move. And you know what happens? The guy gets the puck and shoots it in the net with that back checker with his stick this far away.
Yeah.
And one more stride could have been the difference of knocking that puck away and not having that chance. It's mind-boggling to me.
Well, you know what? You're right. But so guess what? We have to get credit. I'll give credit to Ryan Huska for doing that, for sitting the guy.
But what's wrong with Huberdeau? Is he that soft? Is he that soft where he loved where he was in Florida? He was playing with Barkov. He's playing with some great players. Now all of a sudden he has to go up to Calgary, which by the way is an unbelievable city. It's a great place to play. Great fans. And Huberdeau can't get out of his own way right now to become a regular player that consistently can pull the trigger every single night. It's really disappointing. This is a 100-point guy that for some reason is battling with his mental state because he doesn't like where he is. Or does he like where he is, but he's just is he peaked?
I don't think he likes where he is. I don't think he ever wanted to leave Florida. He didn't want to leave. His best buddy was Barkov.
We got Nick saying he likes his toes in the sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't no sand in Calgary. That a boy, Nick. Good call by you.
There's sand all right, but it's sand for the icy roads up there. That's the only sand they have up in Calgary. His best buddy was Barkov. He was comfortable in Florida. I don't know if he'll ever get back. I think going forward, if he's a 70, 80-point guy, that might be the max that you see out of him, JR.
Yeah, we got Casacora saying it's snowing in Calgary. There's no way that Huberdeau wants to be in the snow. That's fantastic. That's great.
You know who else doesn't want to get the snow? His wife.
You know, I saw my brother last week. My brother was telling me that in the NCAA now, if the NCAA team, if the team plays bad, the coach can't skate them. You can't skate a team after a bad game in punishment. You can't do physical exertion penalties anymore for teams that don't play bad. So literally, if you're a coach and you don't like the way your team plays, if you're in the NCAA, you have to walk into the locker room and go, hey guys, we really didn't play very well last night. Do you think we can play better tonight? Maybe let's go. We can have some ice cream and lollipops tomorrow if you guys play good. If you guys play harder.
That's embarrassing.
So embarrassing. And we become so soft, and we've allowed this absolutely stupid culture to come into sports right now. And us as fans are getting gypped out of what these guys can really do. Because Tim, you know as well as I do, these players are so talented. They are so fast. They shoot the puck. They can do so many great things. And we're getting gypped of their absolute, their top level play. And I'm not saying all the time. Because we see great games. When the playoffs come, we see great hockey. But for the most part, sometimes we see such lazy, such like low-level hockey because just doesn't seem to be the preparation, the commitment, the smart mentality, and the coaches just let it go. And that's why some of these teams are struggling. That's why Washington's struggling. That's why the San Jose Sharks are struggling. That's why Edmonton's struggling. We could say a couple more, but come on, man. That's why I don't coach. I couldn't coach in this league. I could not coach in this league because I'm a yeller and a screamer. I'm a yeller and a screamer. But guys would turn on me in a second.
But to your point, buddy, it's filtering down into minor hockey too. It's the same thing. I coach. You can't. There's no hard love anymore.
Why? Where's the rule?
Because our society's soft.
Where's the rule?
The rule is the parents complain. That's the rule.
Okay, then don't coach.
Well, but I like to coach. I like to get back. You know what I mean?
So you're going to coach and you're going to accept the mediocrity.
No, I'm not. I had a parent the other day. I called him up after a tournament in Chicago. I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I really thought your son played really well this weekend. He scored a few goals. He played hard. I thought he played really well. He said, oh, he thought he was mad at you. And I remember the play. He came off the ice and I go, what are you doing there? Blah, blah, blah. I said one thing negative, and that's all these kids and all the NHL play. You can't say anything negative now. To your point, it's all got to be positive. It's all going to be positive, or they'll fold up their suit, fold up their tent, and go home. They'll take their ball and go home. To your point, I would hate to be a coach in the NHL, but that takes us to our next point, because there's a coach that's on the hot seat in Ottawa right now. And they're playing tonight. I didn't check the score. Ottawa and Toronto. Toronto's in Ottawa, and that's DJ Smith. And I refereed.
It's 1-1. It's 1-1.
1-1. I refereed DJ when he was in the minor, or in the OHL and the minor leagues. Kind of a tough guy. Was the assistant coach in Toronto. I think they have to fire DJ Smith, because what's going on right now in Ottawa is an absolute disgrace. They are last in the Eastern Conference. Now think about that. Brady Tkachuk, Stützle, Norris, Giroux, Tarasenko, Shabbat, Jake Sanderson. You would have played against his dad. Jeff Sanderson. Kid's an unbelievable player. Chychrun, Zub. They're getting decent goaltending. This team should not be last in the NHL in the Eastern Conference chair. There's no chance at that. And it's rinse and repeat from last year. This was a team that was supposed to take the next step, but guess what? Yeah. They're not. So guess what? Steve Stais, who's the new interim GM, you need to make a coaching change. I don't care if it's Claude Julien, Gerard Gallant. You got to get a fresh voice in there, because obviously it's not working with DJ.
Well, you know what? You just said something that was really interesting. So, and I totally agree with you. The fact that the Ottawa Senators are last in the East is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic, because everybody looked at them to making that next step. And a lot of people put them in the playoffs this year, me being one of them. And those players that you just rattled off are way too good to be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Now, they have a lot of young guys. And when you have a lot of young guys on your team, what's the best thing to do is have a coach that teaches young guys and coaches young guys the best. And Gerard Gallant might be the best young guy coach that we've seen in a long time. We saw what happened when he did in Florida. We saw what happened when he did when he went to Vegas.
Yep.
We saw what happened when he went to New York. That all had a lot of young guys. It's really strange to me, though, how Gerard Gallant has so much success and then gets fired. There's something going on, whether Gerard Gallant is not a GM coach, where it's like, it's my team, and he tells the GM, you don't tell me what to do with my team, or whether he is not on the same terms with
an analytic guy, maybe. Like, no, you're right.
There's something about Gerard Gallant, because nobody with the history that Gerard Gallant has had in coaching gets fired as many times as Gerard Gallant gets fired, but not only gets fired as many times, but gets fired when he gets fired. Yeah. He gets fired when he is winning games. That, to me, is mind-boggling.
He got fired from the Rangers. Think about this. they had a 115-point season and lost in the first round. He got fired, and they had 115 points. Now think about it.
Okay, I've got one better for you. He took a team to the finals. He took a expansion team to the finals and got fired 15 games into the next season.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Are you kidding me? Never in pro sports have you seen that. So to me, there is some inner turmoil with what Gerard Gallant says to the GM or the management.
Yeah.
Because I know the players love him. I mean,
Players love him.
Players love him. They play for him. They play hard for him.
I think
it goes. And here's again. Here it goes to show you how soft the NHL is.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you go against them, as soon as you go against the big guys, the CEOs, the GMs, the presidents, as soon as you don't go against them, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't care about wins. No, we don't need you anymore. You don't agree with me? See ya.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. And Gerard Gallant has been at the epicenter of terrible firings when all he does is win. It's crazy.
I think you're onto something when you talk about, because I know Gerard Gallant personally. He's from Prince Edward Island. I grew up in New Brunswick. I've been to many charity events with him. Gerard Gallant is an old school guy. You know how he played in Detroit.
Played against him. He was tough as nails.
Tough as nails. I guarantee you, he says to these GMs and that, I don't give a shit about what you're saying. I'm going to do it my way. And I think you're probably right that it rubs the GMs the wrong way, because to your point, all he does is win everywhere he goes. It's not like he goes to a team and they have a crappy season. They have a good season every team coach.
You think Edmonton Oilers want a coach that wins all the time?
Right.
You think the San Jose Sharks would like a team? You think the Ottawa Senators would like a team, a coach that wins?
Listen,
it bothers me a lot because I like Gerard Gallant, and it's just I've just never seen it in sports where I see a coach win, and get fired. It's mind-boggling to me.
You know what? You've got Leon. I looked today. Leon is 19th in the league in scoring, and Connor McDavid is 67th. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, you need a coaching change in Edmonton. And I know they've been through a tremendous amount of coaches over the last 10 years, but you cannot.
Okay, let me ask you this one. What's more important? Do you need a coaching change in Ottawa or a coaching change in Edmonton first? Which one do you need? Which one would you do first?
I would do Edmonton.
Really?
You know what? That's a tough one. That's a tough one because
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think Ottawa right now has more players and has more potential than Edmonton right now, and I think they're underachieving right now, and it's kind of crazy. So I would go with Ottawa.
Edmonton team went to the third round last year. The third round. Their personnel is not that much different than last year. So what is wrong? Like to your point earlier, is that their system, their defensive system? I don't know, but you can't go from the third round to not make. You can't go from the third round, Jared, of not making the playoffs. And right now, they're on pace not to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
No, the way that they are right now, no.
Can you imagine the NHL playoffs start and there's no Connor McDavid in it? That's unbelievable. No Sidney Crosby. They suck. Pittsburgh sucks. They're they're second last in the Eastern Conference. To have Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid not in the playoffs is a crime.
It is a crime. There's no question about it. And you look at, Warren Fogel's good. Sam Gagner is older, so you can't say much to him. Zach Hyman, good player. Vander Kane, he's I love Vander, but he's got to stop. He's got to stop complaining and start scoring. And I said Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins, he's never done anything for me, to tell you the truth. He's never done anything for me. And I think he's a soft player. I really do. I think he's soft. He had a great year last year. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, come on now.
I told you
he's got to step up. He's got to.
Hello. Hey.
He's got to step in.
I told you this story before. Nugent Hopkins comes up to me in San Jose and he goes, "They're cross-checking me." I go, "Yeah, I know. It's a National Hockey League. In other words, grow some, like, come on, man. This is a tough league to play in." He's never done anything for me either. He's a perimeter player. I love Evander Kane. I don't think they're utilizing him the right way. He's one of the best skaters and power forwards I've seen in the past 5 years. I just don't think they're just not maximizing the potential out of this team right now.
Hey, let's bring on Kasakora. We're gonna bring on one of our we got to get a guest in tonight. We only got about 10 minutes left. Let's bring in a guest, kind of see what he's thinking about some of the things we're saying, because I think we're being very critical tonight, and this is a critical time because, hey, what's up, Kyle? What's going on,
Hey, how's
man?
it going, guys?
Hey, Kyle.
What's going on?
Hi, my name's Keenan here.
Oh, Keenan.
Okay, so you're Keenan. I see your post. It says Kasakora. So
Yeah.
where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Calgary here.
Fantastic. This is even better because we're talking about Calgary. We're talking about Huberdeau. We're talking about their season this year. They put a couple wins together now, so which takes a little bit of pressure off. But as a Calgary fan,
I'm actually an Oilers fan.
Oh, are you?
Oh my God! Now we're really getting into the nitty gritty. We got a Calgary guy who's an Oilers fan. So
I've lived in Calgary for about.
You give us your critique. What's going on with what's happening right now?
Well, we can't give up 2 goals on 3 shots in the first period,
and then get like
20 shots. That was Tuesday night, or today's Wednesday.
Is that team or
Monday
goaltenders?
night?
Is that team or goalie?
Our goalie. We can't, and like our team too. Our defense. We have Ekholm, but like our defense needs to stop pinching, to go down the zone, go down and break, and then we give up so many rushes. It is unbelievable. And
and I talked about Evan Bouchard pinching. You heard?
Yeah. I agree with that. Like I see that so much here, and it's just like the amount of times we go down and break it down or we break down a zone. Next thing you know, it's going the other way, and our goalies can't stop. I don't know if you guys are swearing or not, so I'm not going to bother swearing.
And
we're trying not to swear. We're trying not to swear, but sometimes the frustration comes in on us like you. So I totally get it. So thanks for controlling yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big Markstrom fan. I love Jacob Markstrom, but I don't know. It pains me to say it, but he hasn't had it in the last year and a half.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and I'm happy we didn't sign him. I'm really happy we didn't end up signing the way he's been playing there. And I mean,
you're talking about Edmonton now, yeah. I'm talking about.
Hey, Tim, don't forget he's from Calgary and he's an Edmonton fan, which you don't see very often. That's why he's hanging in his room right now on a Wednesday night because he doesn't want to be out.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out with a friend here tonight. So
he's got a Regina Pack Connor Bedard hoodie on.
Bedard's on the back actually. Bedard's on the back. I got that.
Awesome.
I actually got this from Dan O'Toole here, this hoodie.
That a boy. Oh, a great man. Great guy. Well, listen, hey, Keenan, you're awesome. I'm so happy you're joining us from Calgary. That's fantastic.
You guys are great too. I love hearing both your guys' stories. You two are both great. You guys both got screwed over at the end of your guys' careers, and I'm happy you guys are doing this podcast together.
Thank you.
You are the best. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be up in Calgary. I'm going to be up in Calgary in 2 weeks. I want to come out and meet you. Let's have a drink together. You're a good man, my friend. Let's get together.
That sounds good.
Hey, on the chat line, write your email down in the chat line. I'm going to email you when I get up there. Okay, Keenan?
Okay, sounds good, Jeremy.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
You too. Take care, boys.
Thank you.
See, awesome. Awesome. We're
gonna bring, best.
See?
That's the best. Hey?
Let's bring in Grant. Let's bring in Grant too. Rock and Reese, I know you're sitting there waiting, but we got to get some newbies in here too. So don't worry, Rock and Reese, we'll get you next week. We're going to bring in Grant to chat a little bit. We just don't you just love guys that come on like I'm from Calgary, but I'm an Edmonton fan. That's just awesome. What's up, Grant?
Oh, boys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. Great, man. Good to see you. Welcome to Snipes and Stripes and NoFilter.net. Really happy to have you. Where are you joining in from?
Minnesota, baby.
Oh, wow. Hey, listen,
it.
is there a team in the National Hockey League that gets less respect than the Minnesota Wild?
That's a great point, JR.
Seriously.
This team is so fun to watch. They work their ass off. They are well coached. Their GM is the best. They battle their asses off, and nobody talks about them. It's crazy
story of my life, man.
So you kind of get the same thing, right? You kind of feel the same thing.
Yeah, back-to-back 100-point seasons and just no luck in the playoffs. But I mean, the way they play now with Billy G coming in, it's just I love watching them every night. So
well, JR
played old school.
JR played with Billy, and Billy was one of my favorite guys, and I'll text him every once in a while and say, hey, good luck and nice job, whatever. You've got one of the best people, human beings, in Billy Guerin.
Yeah, you do. You really do. And you got
one
of the best
seems
players.
Like the coolest guy ever.
And you got one of the best players. Kaprizov is one of the most fun players to watch. So Grant, give us, what do you got for us? I know you chimed in. You probably want to say something, and we're going to give you the floor. What do you got for us?
Well, I wanted to hear your thoughts on the trades today. For the Wild, they got Bogosian. They sent Kalen Addison to San Jose.
I saw that.
And just like on the Kaprizov, I know Peelsy was talking about Kuznetsov a couple weeks ago, how all the Russians kind of play a little lazy. Not Kaprizov, man.
Not Kaprizov.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. That's a great point. It's a great point. There's no laziness in that guy's game at all. I judge a player I watch every shift. And Kaprizov does something that catches your eye every single shift. And that's a special player when they do that. And, I try to tell young kids, don't waste 45 seconds. Kaprizov doesn't waste 45 seconds. I'm going to go to the Bogosian aspect. I've always been a big Bogosian fan.
I think it's a great pickup by many.
Yeah, because one thing that I hated the most, Grant, is going into the crease and going around the net and knowing that the defenseman was going to hammer me with a slash, was going to cross-check me, that was going to give me the business, that was going to make me feel some pain for going into that crease. And that's the type of player that Bogosian is. And I don't know whether, the team needs that kind of presence, but you can't hurt.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely need a little depth, but
I'm a big Foligno fan too, Grant. I love Marcus. I've known their dad for 20 years. He's just an incredible. Marcus is an incredible person. He's what embodies an NHL player. He plays it the right way. He can score. He can fight. I told my son Bronson the other night, we're watching the mini game. I go, watch Kaprizov skate here. Just watch him. It's like unbelievable watching them. So I'm hoping you guys have a lot of success this year. I loved working in Minnesota. The fans there. I loved going to my old buddy Tom Reed. Tom Reed's.
Oh yeah, that's the spot.
Minnie was in town last winter, and Tom texted me, and I met him downtown and had a couple beers. Tom's the best, and yeah, we love you guys in Minnesota, buddy.
We love Minnesota hockey.
Love it.
We love the state of hockey. There's no question about it. My boy Jack Jablonski's from up there, and he's he's like my second son. I love him to death. But we can't mention Minnesota without talking about one of my favorite players in the game, and Mats Zuccarello. You have this small guy that just is one of the smartest hockey players on the planet, and he's got an edge to him. He's feisty. He plays the game the right way.
He's Swiss.
Listen, I think Minnesota should be better than where they are right now, but I still think that they are going to be okay. Grant, I love that you joined from Minnesota. I'm glad that you're on nofilter.net with us. I hope you like the show. It's a cool aspect that you can come on and give your 2 cents. This is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I know. I wasn't expecting you guys to let me in here.
Well, we let you in. We let you in. That's what it's all about.
No, it's an honor. It's an honor. You guys get me through the workday. I'm cracking up at work, so
Grant, you got
appreciate
to. Grant, you were able to talk to an NHL legend tonight, and USA Hockey Hall of Famer. So I'm already grateful.
And a zebra legend. So Grant,
yeah, I love you, Stripes. I give it a little too hard to the men's league refs. I'm just kidding. I'm always kidding.
Keep giving it to him. Keep giving it to him. Grant, we'll see you next week. We appreciate you joining.
All right, thanks, beauties.
Amazing. See, that's what it's all about. So, hey, listen, I thought we covered some really important topics this week, and I know we were harsh on some teams, which you got to be sometimes because maybe they listen to the show, maybe they see what we say, maybe they see some of the clips that we throw on social media, and maybe it gets in their head that or maybe they look at us and say, F you guys don't know, screw you, whatever the case may be. But these teams have got to start having a little bit of care and a little bit of passion in the game.
Well, JR, we could do a show every week about how good Vegas is and how good Boston is. And sorry, but nobody wants to. You don't want to hear that. Everybody knows how good these teams are. We want to talk about what's wrong with some of the teams in the league that we expected to do better. We expected Ottawa to do better. We expected Buffalo to do better. There's other teams in the league that we expected to do better, and we're now getting to that point, and the stats by American Thanksgiving. I think it's 78% that if you're not in the playoffs or within 4 points, you don't make the playoffs, and it's unbelievable that is by American Thanksgiving. So some of these teams, they need to get their head out of their or they're not going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to just in response to a couple of the our chatters online, we had Underachieving come on, and we talked about Toronto. So he asked how bad Toronto is. We talked about him in the beginning of the show. I think he kind of caught us on the back end. My boy Chris Blaine says, "Go Wings!" He's a big Wings fan, but hey, the Wings have kind of been sputtering a little bit. Blainer, I thought you were gonna chime in and chat about it. We'll talk about the Wings next week. We also got Nick that just says, you know what? Listen, call the teams out. He says, listen, JR, it's what you should do. Who cares what they think? And you know what? That's kind of the mentality that we have here on Snipes and Stripes. We're going to call teams out. We're going to call players out, but we're also going to call people out for doing great things and teams that do great things. So we'll continue to do that. Next week, I want to talk about Alex Ovechkin. Is he going to catch Gretzky's record? Because there's a lot of people talking right now that don't seem to think that he's going to, especially with the way that the Washington Capitals are playing. So listen, real quick, Bet Online is our sponsor for your best odds, for your best predictions, for the best places to play. Bet Online is your place for gambling. NHL, NFL, NBA, we're all rolling right now. Bet Online, that is where you go for your betting prospects. And I am going to come up and I'm going to pick a game for tomorrow. And I think I'm going to go a little bit on the edge because we just called out Ottawa. And I think I'm going to call Brady Tkachuk and say, Brady, get your team going tomorrow. I'm going to take Ottawa Senators over Vancouver. They're underdogs at home. I love a dog at home, and I think Ottawa is going to be so mad that they're not playing so well and that we called them out. I'm going with the Ottawa Senators tomorrow against Vancouver. Who do you got?
Wow, that's a good one, buddy. And we'll talk about your buddy Rick Tocchet in Vancouver next week. Elias Pettersson off to a tremendous start. I've got Friday. I've got Montreal at Detroit. I've got Detroit. I've got 3 games picked. I've got Washington at the Islanders on Saturday. I'm picking the Islanders, and we always got to throw a lock in there because I don't want to tell you but if
don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm telling you.
Don't you dare St. Louis is going to beat Arizona.
No,
don't you dare say it.
I'm not going down that path again. But San Jose Saturday night is in Vegas. Now I got to think the San Jose team is probably going to go out Friday night in Vegas and maybe have some fun. I'm telling you, Vegas, this is a lock. Bet what you want, but Vegas is going to win that game against San Jose.
Bet the house.
Bet the house.
Bet the house. Bet the farm. Bet the kids. Las Vegas. This might be a 15-1 game. Las Vegas against San Jose on Saturday. That's a good one. Everybody, thank you very much. What a great show, buddy. This is another edition of Snipes and Stripes on NoFilter.net. We've had a blast. Timmy, you brought your A game today, man. You just brought some really good points and some really good critiques that I think were well deserved.
Thanks, buddy. It was a great show, and enjoy your time in Puerto Rico.
I will. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go join the party in Puerto Rico right now and play some golf. And I'm gonna thank everybody here on NoFilter.net. Thanks for joining. You guys are awesome. I'm seeing all of your chats in the chat zone. You guys are awesome. Chris Blaine, I expect you to be here next week. Talk about Detroit. We're gonna talk about Ovi. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we always have fun right here on NoFilter.net. Snipes and Stripes. See you next week, Peelsy.